couldn't believe what happened. I thought it was like a Photoshop makeup or something. I mean, it was really tragic, and it was really, I mean, unbelievable. It's incredible that you have such kind of a scenario, that you have like a truck loaded by explosives, and then you park it in front of the security main house in the Kahliya governorate, and then it bombs like that, and it killed a lot of people actually. I mean, more than 15 people were killed. I mean, it was a very tragic, and the explosion it destroyed a whole bank in the first floor, as well as a whole facade of 3 or more than 4 buildings were completely destroyed.
Do you think it was planning? They were planning to put the entire building down? Because there was 2 planted bombs, one on the top of the building and the other one was next to the building, and there was a third bomb that was diffused before it blasts off.
Right, you are, sir. I mean, the blast itself was horrible, and the truck was loaded by more than 1 ton of explosives. It is incredible from where they got such explosives, you know. And they also, some witnesses said that there were 2 more cars parked, like surrounded the building, you know, of the government. I mean, and they disappeared after that. So this might be the contingency plan. If they didn't work in this way, then it will work that way. But definitely, they plan to destroy the whole building.
Yes, now, Doctor, when you said from where they got
the explosives,
such kind of explosives, and that is exactly the question that I want to ask you, because a lot of people were talking that this kind of vacuum type of explosive device is only found in the United States or is manufactured by Israel. And then this raises question marks on how did it get into Egypt. And not only that, but it's very close to Cairo, and that's raising fears to people, because as Sharif said, what happened today was in the heart of Cairo as well. And people are civilians are starting to be fearful of moving around and proceeding with their daily life, possibly of witnessing or facing such another unfortunate terrorist attack.
Yes, I mean, this is a very good question, and it raises an exclamation mark of the relation between Hamas as the wing, as like the wing of activities or violence to the Brotherhood. And definitely, as you kindly said, that these kind of blasts or explosives are manufactured in the States or by the Israeli factories. And definitely there is a very clear relation between Hamas and the Israeli part, and then the tunnels in Sinai. So because of the army now has been undertaking a lot of activities against terrorism in Sinai, definitely they could escape with a lot of explosives, as well as like heavy machines, heavy armored machines, to Cairo, and from Cairo to other governorates. And remember also, you have the other side of Matruh. You know, I mean, it's full of weapons and heavy armored weapons. So definitely these are the sources from where they can get such kind of explosives. And they are like newly manufactured. I mean, some witnesses said that the expiry date on the explosives were new, you know. So I mean, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing to buy such, to waste your time, money, and such many souls in order to protest.
So the target was a government building, it was police actually, and this is also raising a lot of concerns when the terror is targeted towards the security apparatus in Egypt.
Right.
How do you see this, you know, obvious ongoing battle between the security system in Egypt and terror?
Right, you are. However, although it is like a battle between the Brotherhood and the security apparatus in Egypt, yet the victims are not only the soldiers or the young soldiers. You know, the victims are the Egyptians, children, women, elders. You know, I mean, victims is the society. I mean, it is very sad in order to think in this very negative way, to kill people in order to, I mean, what's the point they want to prove? They want to prove to the world that they are terrorists and they can do things, and they want to get the time back, like in the 80s when they filled Egypt with a lot of bombs and such a kind of violence. I hope that the security apparatus itself would announce a clear statements against fighting such kind of terrorism and try to get like very tight plans in order to secure the seizing the movement of the Brotherhood. You know, like the security apparatus in Egypt or knows exactly where they can find the Brotherhood cells, and they can tighten up the security more than that. And
Yes.
they should have contingency plans all the time, because you never know. Like in Giza building, for example, security building, they now have the whole place surrounded by heavy vehicles, you know, and nobody, even the pedestrians, don't go through the streets surrounding the security building.
Yes. Now, Doctor, Egypt has always, you know, it knows that there is an enemy that it could fight, and it's ready to face that both psychologically and to back the army. But this kind of fight against terrorism is new to the culture of Egypt. I mean,
Right.
we have heard that the Brotherhood elements have tried back in the 90s and even before that throughout history to sort of have similar kind of incidents here and there. But when we hear those unfortunate events, whether it's in Sinai or even that took place in Mansoura, and we hear jihadist groups like Beit al-Maqdis announcing that it's responsible, and we do know that Beit al-Maqdis is not even Egyptian in the first place. What can this indicate? Where is Egypt going from here in its fight against terrorism?
Actually, this is a very heavy question to answer. You know, it's loaded by a lot of exclamation marks and question marks, and I mean, we need like a book to answer such a big question. However, we would like to announce that the security apparatus in Egypt must work as one unit, and they have I'm sure that they have a very good experience in fighting terrorism, because the experience is accumulated through time. And we have been succeeding in fighting the terrorism since the 80s, you know. I think although the time is running and a lot of modernization has been indulged with the activities of terrorism, on the other hand, modernization also was crowning the activities of the security apparatus. And I think that the plans should be put like in ABC style, you know, like if A didn't work, then B will work. If B didn't work, then C would work. And this way we might take one step forward in fighting the terrorism. This is number one. Number two, the people themselves now have more awareness against terrorism, and this is a very good thing that the media apparatus itself also is trying to do its part in it. Like it awares people that all of us should fight the terrorism. All of us should announce and points out that there is a very weird, for example, bodies here. They saw a car parking for a couple of days or something, you know, and they would also like boycotting the Brotherhood activities and trades and business, you know. I mean, people now are like more aware than before, and the sympathy that people carried before to the Brotherhood, now they are lack of it. So I think this is two very important points: the sympathy of people, or the popularity of the Brotherhood, which they lost, and the modernization of security plans that should be updated according to the latest technology in the field.
Yes, soon after the incident, the tragic incident that happened in the Ahliya, the Egyptian government and the Prime Ministry announced that the Muslim Brotherhood is a terrorist group, locally and internationally.
Yes, sir.
How would you relate this with the incident, and how far is the government confident that the attack was actually created and caused by the Muslim Brotherhood?
Another good question. First of all, I think that the plan or the blast of today is not because of the occasion of the announcement. I think it is like an old plan, you know, and it's a milestone along the road, you know.
So
like,
you don't think it was a reaction to what happened?
No.
Because it sounded like, you know, temper and
just
retaliation.
Yes, right, you are sure, but you know, I think it is just coincidence, you know, because I mean they started like after the
Just after the explosion, you mean?
Even before that, since the 30th of June, the revolution of 30th of June, and they had planned, they threatened, the ousted ex-president Morsi threatened that if you didn't go with the legitimacy and such things, then Egypt wouldn't see any peace, They said it a lot in mass media as well as his supporters.
So does this mean they are succeeding today?
I don't like to say succeeding, but I would like to say that they are accusing themselves and they are proving what their threats. Because your other part of the question said, how do you know that if this is the Brotherhood? They announced that in the whole media. Since the revolution of 30th of June, they announced it. So this is number one. That this is the proof that they threatened and they did the threaten. Number two, that they had a plan, and this plan has a milestone where they execute parts of it. They started by the Kahleya in north of Egypt. Then they come again to Cairo. Then they will go to South Egypt. In parts and pieces, so that you lose your balance and you don't know where you can catch here or there. And you see, 24 hours only difference between the two accidents. And the victims in both accidents are civilians.
Yes. Now, Doctor, let's talk about how you think the supporters of the Brotherhood elements would think of what's happening now. Since the 30th of June, they had certain understandings and beliefs. They refused the popular uprising that took place on the 30th of June, saying, well, Mohamed Morsi was a democratically elected president in the first time of Egypt, and he should be granted a chance, and that the Brotherhood are doing a lot of activities, whether it is for public help or helping with employment and food products and so forth. After 30th of June, a lot of things took place. A lot of incidents have changed the ideologies of how people see the Brotherhood elements. The supporters themselves for the Brotherhood, how do you see them changing their opinion and views, particularly after the recent events?
Very good question. I think the non-Brotherhood supporters, now they are no longer supporters. This is number one. Number two, I think like when Morsi was democratically elected, he was also democratically deposed. So it's equal in both cases. This is number two. This is number one. Number two, that the supporters from the regular people, they knew that now, and it was proved that the Brotherhood are terrorists. They are not fighting for the religion. They are fighting for their personal interest. Number three, the Brotherhood elements themselves, part of them, as we have been watching in media, they departed from the Brotherhood clan. They left them because they knew that they are leading them to nowhere. However, the other Brotherhood elements, I think they are mentally sick. When you hear them talking and when you see their reactions, you cannot believe that these are normal people. They are talking by blood, talking by revenge, talking by threatening all the time, and using a lot of religious like statements. As if they were mandated from Allah to take revenge from other parties. So I think they lost everything. They announced it by what they are doing now. They announced it. They are announcing actually their dead end. I think so.
And how do you see the government's role in strengthening or having their grip on the security situation in Egypt?
I think the government is doing its best, although it might not be that like that catchy with the violence the Brotherhood trying to lead. However, I think they are doing their best. They are putting a lot of plans. They are trying to secure strategic places. Like embassies and universities and and the popularity areas where a lot of people might be found, and courts also. So I think they are doing their best. However, we are ignoring their plans. So That's why I'm saying that they must follow like a contingency plan schedule, you know,
Yes.
like they have like one plan after another and after another.
Dr. Walid Al-Najjar, political activist